This is actually a very real representation of how I feel. Being indoors because of COVID-19. I don't like it at all, but here we are. Cue intro.
Set live.
Alright, it's very clear that I haven't been here for a long time. Vlogging isn't as easy as it looks. It takes a lot of time. And me sometimes being creatively drained from existing work. It's been a little tough to do a vlog, Jen, I ain't gonna lie. But here I am, in the lockdown, COVID-19. Real wicked dog, I swear. So we here, and today we're gonna be talking about my very first short film called Jess. If you haven't seen Jess as yet, the link is in the description. Watch that first and then come back to this video, because this video is going to be breaking down what the ins and the outs were of creating Jess, talking about it from concept to completion. Since I started in television production, I've always wanted to tell stories. The problem is you would always get caught up in life and work, and I would just never do one. Somewhere in 2015, and I had the idea for Jess. I was working on a film at that time with a good friend of mine called Asha King. That film wrapped and we were thinking about what was going to happen next. It was a conversation, an idea, and a friend. I ran the idea by her because I know that she does script writing. I say, King, I had this idea for a film, girl. I said, but I had the beginning, the middle, and the end somewhat kind of worked out. It just was a matter of getting the dialogue done, man. She said, send me the idea. Lo and behold, 2 days later, I got an email from Asha saying, yo, look your script. I finished writing it for you. And I was like, what? When she brought that script finished for me, man, I was so happy because I've been procrastinating for years about doing a film, and to have a script in hand, finally I could call the rest of the people that would have been integral and getting the film done and say, yo, I have this idea. Are you guys on board? Asha King, much love. It was the beginning of something that we would have eventually been very proud of. This film delves into what the effects of infidelity is, and in this case touches a little bit on mental health. Jess is about a young couple that's married. Their relationship is kind of on the rocks. The husband was unfaithful. Jess has been having a hard time dealing with what that is. It's put her in a very strange and peculiar place that unravels as the film goes on. They have a young daughter, and the progression of Jess is something that shows what that mood and that environment is around a couple when they're emotionally challenged, in a sense. Me being new to filmmaking, I really wanted to work with a crew and a cast that was fresh at it as well. I felt like people who've never necessarily been on film or in front of a camera before, they kind of tend to give you a very natural presence and projection of what a character could be. There were 3 actors. Jess was played by Khadija Glasgow. Khadijah's done some stage and so on. The challenge in it for her was it was her first film. You know, having a theatre and a stage background, the acting for the two are different. So for her, she was happy to be on board to challenge herself. David, who was played by Kevin, he wasn't trained, but he was willing, and he was very eager to do something and to do something new, and that helped a lot. They both felt the script. They both felt like they identified with areas about the script, and as a result, the process started to move quickly. And then Keone, who played Salome, she does dance, and I think she does a little drama and thing, was green as well. That combined with the excitement to just do their first film for the very first time. That's something that I appreciated.
You having sex with another woman in my bed, in my car, carrying her around my friends, and expect me to be chill?
David, I love you. I've always
Don't
loved you.
lie.
I've loved you all the time.
You've never loved me. You never loved your damn self. But you know what, Jess? I hope you find God. I really do.
You can have a script, and you can read and you can orate something silently, but when a camera is in front of you, it's a very different story. It feels a lot different when cameras are filming. My first AD, Tonya Evans, who was also the casting director, it was her first film as well. You know, she's very versed in stage and dance and so on, but it was a challenge for her to come into this space and work with the actors, doing acting, coaching and that kind of stuff. So that's kind of where the journey and the progression for that started. So when doing a film, it's very important to have an absolute well-oiled machine, and that starts for me with a very good production schedule. Thanks to Patrice Million of A Million Concepts, who came on board in terms of, production coordination, logistics, that would have effectively, helped us to manage the time that we had, and really adding much needed structure to the craziness that was this entire project. Because we ain't too organized with some things at all. We had a solid foundation and we hit the ground running to film. Initially, Jess was supposed to take about 5 days to film. You see, this is a small budget film. Rehearsal was a bit of a challenge, seeing that we had a very small window of time to get this film shot and edited. Man, we just went down hard and started to do rehearsals like we was going crazy, and man, it was indeed a sacrifice, because Kevin is a lawyer by profession and they worked weird hours, and Khadija is a teacher. One thing I really admire and respect Tonya for. Tonya brought an element of directing that I feel like it's invaluable. We did rehearsals by Tonya's house, in dance studios. We did rehearsals open air, in the car. Tonya sent Kevin and Khadija on dates. Some very out of the box approaches to get them into intimacy in a positive way and a negative way, so that the characters really could have come alive, and the range within which they would have functioned. And a lot of organic things that take place, while the fight was going on and they were arguing. We had that shot from the front of the car looking through the windscreen. And you guys would have seen while they were fighting, the sunshade visor thing fell off, and I was like, yes, we had none of that plan. That just fall off itself. That was a beautiful journey in and of itself. And I couldn't have done it without Tonya's invaluable contribution and her techniques and everything that made it what it was. It's amazing that we would have been able to do that in what I would call record time. We did it in literally about a month and a half, 2 months, if so much, we took to bring the entire piece together. Every scene that we did on the road was so difficult to do because the vehicle is constantly moving. There's a scene we shot by the Hyatt with Jess and David in the car. Create a mental note of every time that light changes, you might have to move. So what we did is we shot off the lane, in a sense, closer to the shoulder. So if the light changed, the people that were really waiting for the light had time to pass. So on the wide shot, you'd see the car drive up to the light and stop. But in truth and in fact, when we started the film, we actually reversed the car and then put the car closer to the shoulder. So that lane would have been opened once again, so that the normal traffic could have made its way through. Recording audio at the side of the road, it's a nightmare because you have all manner of vehicles passing, big and small, people blowing horns and that kind of thing. And luckily I had who I consider to be the most amazing songman in the world, Karen Lemessy, for a good bit of the song recording on the days. And Karen has a vast amount of knowledge where song recording is concerned, and whatever he do about magic and sorcery, the man do, we ain't hear no traffic passing dread. The man real bad. Cassie Foster, aka Bag. That's an inside joke. He did the last leg of the film first. Karen had some other commitments, and that scene where we had the fight in the car, at the end of the film, Cassie was responsible for the audio. We had to time the portion of script in such a way that when they're driving between point A and point B, that the scenery around them kind of looks the same. The location for the church was Mount St. Benedict. That was the beginning of the real set of challenges, making sure that the continuity in the environment around remained as consistent as it could have been. However, when we got onto the road to film the very first argument where she blew up on him, which is when they left Mount St. Benedict, that was the most challenging driving scene to do, because the journey was Mount Up roundabout, Caroni, flyover, come back down. In the interest of time, we had to do some dialogue going up and some dialogue coming down. There is only so much we could have done. We don't have the luxury of police officers giving us an escort or blocking off the road, or having 5 to 10 different prop cars that would drive the same route so that we could have coordinated well. We literally had to work with what we had. One of the other very great challenges of filming every driving scene that we had is being able to film and monitor what we were doing at the same time. Little do you know is that Tonya, myself, and Karen, we needed to be in the car very well hidden to see and to hear, to make sure everything going well. So in that moment, we really had to get creative. In the trunk of the SUV, Tonya and myself squeezed up like sardine in a tin with the monitor and the headphones listening. And Karen is in the back seat, hiding behind the passenger side seat next to Salome, making sure he hearing properly on his end and riding levels and that kind of thing. And man, that was so challenging, but so good, because you have the challenge of the space, the challenge of cabling, because we are no big budget, so we don't know wireless Teradek and Mars Holy Land 3000 to send wireless signal. We had cables running along the doors in the door jams and so on, coming back so that we can have the signal in the back and so on. It was chaotic but beautiful at the same time. Another important thing to record clear audio and clear sound, we needed to do all those scenes with the windows up and no AC on. Because with the AC on, you get the breeze blowing into the microphones, and Karen would have individually mic'd, Kevin individually mic'd, Khadijah. He would have had a mic in the front near to the gear shifter. There's so many different angles for sound he had to make sure that we had everything going properly. This is something that a lot of you all don't see. So you might look at that and be like, yo, that's just a driving shot. The process of rigging the camera to the car securely so that the camera doesn't fall off the weather. Thankfully, for the most part, we had no rain, but the inconsistency with shooting in the days, the movement of clouds and again, some sunny and some overcast. We had a lot of aerials in the film, as you guys can see, and a lot of things aligned itself well. So one of my favorite shots of the film is that drone shot when the car first comes up the hill to go into Mount Sinai, the car park, and you see the drone start far away from the church, and then it comes in, and then it approaches the cross and kind of goes vertical and goes up in the air. And that shot is amazing because when we got up there to do the drone shot, you know, Mojo and I got up and we saw the Kobo on the sit on the cross now, boy, and we was like, we look at each other and we was like, nah, this ain't gonna work out. That Kobo, dog, like that Kobo come out of pose. Like that TV Kobo, that Kobo come out for action, you dig? At that point in time in the script and in the film, that was the point in time where Jess was going into the church, and that would have created a very dark mental picture of the things that was going to come next. So if you want to say the Kobo on the cross as like a telling sign for a omen or something, it was perfect with everything that you shoot, every film, every music video, everything that you shoot. There are elements that naturally align based on the stars and God and whatever. They come together perfectly, and that was the alignment moment for us. You know, it was a very fulfilling experience to film, but the hard part came after, which is the editing. Patrice and myself would have done all of the editing on this film. It was a nice experience sitting and being able to watch how music for film comes together. All scored and done by Mark Dingwell of Anomaly Studios in San Fernando. This is Mark sitting down in the studio, literally playing the keys while the film going on, and, you know, trying to feel the mood as the scenes play out. None of us are maestros at this, and we sat and we literally got to them. I never would have been able to think that I would have attempted for my first film, a film that was 90% shot in a car. Coming out of that, the film was very, 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 very well received by all of those that saw it. At that moment, it was really quite fulfilling to see something that would have just been a thought, something that would have just been a part of your imagination and a part of your heart literally translated into film on screen and received by a cross-section of people that in the moment was appreciative of what the effort was. And, you know, there's no greater thing for me in terms of satisfaction when you as a creative and as an artist can put something out and people receive it well. And the reality is not everybody would like it. Some people would have things to say about it, and that is all testament to what that process of growth is. You know, so all in all, that is what the experience just was like. I had a vision. I found a group of people that were passionate about the vision as well, and I just want to take this moment to say thank you to every person that had a hand to do the film, the entire cast, the entire crew, everybody that had a hand in it. It was fulfilling for everybody, and it's something that we'll never forget. Well, I don't know, you know, this has been my Quarant vlog. I don't know when I'll go and get next vlog again. Maybe next week. I'll try to be forthcoming and punctual with these vlogs, but I can't promise all nothing because this is a lot of work. So subscribe to my channel, dread, and like my videos, and somebody see man sponsor me out here in these streets and this life out here, because I man looking for a little dust. Group up that dust and sponsor the Dana boy. Okay.